Thank you, Victoria. Our next speaker is Herman Berngen. Herman is an environmental, water reclamation, and farming operations manager and has been with Hilmar Cheese Company in Dalhart, Texas for 13 years. Throughout his career, he has worked in dairy, beef processing, and agricultural production in industries in the Texas Panhandle. Herman has a vested interest and is dedicated to improving lives and ensuring the preservation of natural resources for future generations. Please help me welcome Mr. Herman Berngen.
All right, I know it's getting late in the day, so my presentation will probably not be as long as some of the others, but I do like to be interactive. So I'm probably going to ask you guys a few questions just to make sure you're paying attention, especially these college students right down here in the front. But I always like to start out by asking this question. Who knew that we have a cheese manufacturing facility in the Panhandle of Texas? All right, there's a few. It always amazes me when I talk to people in the Panhandle and in Amarillo or even in Dumas or some of these areas that don't know. Oh, sorry, is that better? All right, that don't know that there's a cheese manufacturing facility in Dalhart, Texas. So we've been here almost 12 years now. We started operations in 2007. It's also one of two biggest cheese manufacturing facilities in the world. So we produce a lot of cheese out of Dalhart, and we process a lot of milk out of Dalhart. So those are just some interesting facts. And we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about our water or full water cycle program that we have at Hilmar Cheese and what we are doing to conserve water and basically try to get as much out of every single drop of water that we can. That's the key. One of the reoccurring themes I've heard here today has been that people are the key, and we need to do everything we can to conserve water in the panhandles and in the state of Texas for future generations. So our plan is to be here for a long time. And I'll go ahead and get started. But basically what I want to cover today is just give you guys a little history and background on Hilmar Cheese Company, the importance of water in our process, what it's used for and how it's used, the water cycle that we have implemented and that we continue to refine as we move forward. Process water treatment system. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about our water treatment system, how it works, and the technology involved there. And then our farming operation. So this next slide, I've put a link to our video, and I'm hoping our IT group back there got it to work. So.
Hilmar Cheese is so much more than a cheese company, and it all starts here at farms like this.
My family, along with 11 other dairy families, founded Hilmar Cheese Company in 1984. Our second and third generations are also involved. They make sure our values remain consistent and the business continues to grow.
As owners and dairy farmers, we understand the importance of our dedicated milk supply. We work with more than 200 local dairy farms close to our processing facilities. These family-owned dairies have a commitment to animal care and stewardship and to producing the highest quality milk.
Most people don't recognize our name since our cheese is sold to companies who sell it under private labels and through food services. And yet, Hilmar Cheese Company is a leading global manufacturer. We produce more than 2 million pounds of cheese each day. 1 out of every 5 pounds of natural American cheese, such as cheddar, Colby, and Monterey Jack, sold in the United States, is made by Hilmar Cheese.
What sets us apart is our ability to produce large volumes of high-quality cheese while delivering exceptional customer service.
We are also a leading manufacturer of high-value ingredients made from cow's milk. With facilities in California and Texas, Hilmar delivers products to more than 50 countries. We help our customers feed their customers.
Our Hilmar Ingredients division takes our consistent, high-quality whey stream and processes it into 80% whey protein concentrate, whey protein isolate, whey protein hydrolysate, and exciting new protein fractions used in food, beverages, and infant formula. Our edible, refined, and ultra-refined lactose is a natural sweetener in candies, baked goods, and is also used in infant formula.
We deliver functional and value-added ingredients to meet the needs of our domestic and international customers. Our strength is our attention to detail. This allows us to consistently produce large lots of high-quality product day after day. This is how we help each customer grow their business.
Hilmar is known for constant improvement and innovation. Our facilities use the latest technology to develop new products and processes for our customers.
At our Innovation Center, our job is to work with food and beverage makers to create products consumers want. Together, we look for ways to offer key attributes like taste, nutrition, and convenience. And we understand how our cheese, whey protein, and lactose work in almost every conceivable formulation, method of processing, or type of conversion.
There are times when our customers need unique products. We have dedicated engineering, technical, and research teams to develop new cheeses, proteins, and milk fractions. From concept to commercial production, we can make it happen.
Food safety is our highest priority. We're continually looking for ways to improve testing and quality assurance. It's all about excellence and service.
None of this can happen without great people. We have some of the most knowledgeable experts in the field. As owners, we have invested in the best manufacturing processes and equipment, but it's the dedication of our staff to excellence that truly defines Hilmar Cheese Company. Our employees openly engage in being challenged and have a can-do attitude to deliver service, technical, and logistical support.
We are a values-driven company. Honesty and integrity are at the core of what we do. We have a deep commitment to the environment.
Nearly 100% of our water is reused and reclaimed for irrigation. Our headquarters and innovation center was built to demonstrate leadership in energy conservation and environmental design.
Our visitor center is a community place and promotes tourism. We share the story of dairy, agriculture, and our commitment to stewardship with guests of all ages.
Relationships and how we do business really define who we are. What makes us unique are the amazing relationships and dynamics between our owners, staff, customers, suppliers, and communities. We're committed to long-term, mutually beneficial relationships. Another way to say this is we want to do good things together in the long run. Hilmar Cheese Company is values-driven.
We're engaged.
Hilmar Cheese Company is momentum.
What makes Hilmar Cheese unique is our people.
Extremely focused on its customers.
Innovation and excellence.
Hilmar Cheese Company is an industry leader.
We love what we do, and we are really excited about what's ahead.
So that's a little bit about Hilmar Cheese. That video pretty much sums who we are up. Hilmar started in 1983, and I always give the guys in California a hard time. It took them 30 years, what it took us about 10 years to do here in Dalhart as far as production and throughput goes. So we have been on a very aggressive growth plan in Dalhart. The last 2 years we've slowed down a little bit on new processes and increasing production. And we're focusing a little bit more now on efficiency. And that ties right back into water and what we do with water and how we use it. So the importance of water in our process and the role water plays in our process is several purposes. Basically, we use it for cooling. We use it for boiler makeup. The most important part of it is cleaning and sanitizing. So, as you know, we process a lot of cheese and we feed a lot of people each and every day. A lot of our protein products are used in baby formulas, so it is critical that we sanitize and clean our process and make sure that all the bad bacteria is dealt with each and every day before we run any milk through our plant. This is the most critical part of our process, is ensuring a clean facility and clean equipment. So the majority of our water use goes directly to cleaning our facility. So what are our water sources? Can anybody give me a guess on where we get our water from to clean the facility? We've talked about it a little bit today. The Ogallala is one of them. So we have wells that supply our plant. Our facility is regulated by USDA and FDA, as well as TCEQ. So our potable water system is regulated as a public water supply system, which means we've got to meet all the regulations. The second place we get it is from our milk. What percentage of milk is, or what percentage of water is in milk? Can anybody tell me that? How much? It's a little high. It's actually 87%. So 87% of the milk that comes into our plant each and every day is water. So we recoup that water as polished water is what we call it, and about 50% of the water used each and every day to clean our facility comes directly from the milk that comes into our facility. And like we mentioned, the other 50% comes from our well water supply. So on average, we run about 240 truckloads of milk into our plant each and every day, which is a lot of milk. And we produce a little over 1.2 million pounds of cheese on a daily basis. And as the video says, that goes to feed between the two facilities over 20 million people on a daily basis in 50 countries. So we have the potential, if we don't have a clean plant and a clean facility, to affect a lot of lives. One of our purposes is to improve lives, whether that be in our communities, in our areas, as well as with our customers. So it's very important to us that we make sure we have a good quality product when it leaves the plant. All right, so we're going to spend a little time on this slide here, but basically I gave this presentation at one of the education days put on by the North Plains Groundwater Conservation District in Dalhart, and we presented it to fourth graders. And Kurt said, hey, you've got a pretty good story. Why don't you come present this here? So I had to make it a little bit more geared towards a mature audience versus fourth graders, but I tried to get somebody to come up here and dress up as Daisy the cow, but I didn't find any takers at the plant today. So I also thought about maybe doing the whole presentation as Daisy the cow, but I didn't think that would go over too well. So The first step in the process and where this all begins is at the dairy. So Daisy the cow up there is where this whole process begins. We work with several, I think probably 30 or 40 producers in the area, and we ship milk in from 30 or 160 mile radius of the plant. You know, there's a lot of producers involved in providing milk to us. And really the water conservation process starts at the dairy. A lot of the dairies that we work with have recycle systems and reuse systems to get the most out of every drop of water that they use. From the dairy, it comes to the plant, like I said, via truck, and we receive it in our milk receiving bays and areas. And basically what we do there is we test every single load of milk to ensure that there's no antibiotics in it and there's nothing in it that's going to harm our process or the end product. So after it's tested, it's offloaded in our milk receiving bays, and they also standardize that milk. So they standardize it based on the type of cheese we're going to run that day. So they have different standards, and based on the cheese make schedule for the day, develop or standardize the milk. Water is used in our milk receiving bay every day to clean the equipment, and it's also used to clean every truck that comes through the plant. We're required, or the haulers are required, to clean their tankers every 24 hours. So every 24 hours, we utilize water and sanitation chemicals to clean each and every truck that comes through the plant. From the milk receiving bay, basically once it's standardized, we pasteurize it, and again, that's to kill any bad bacteria or things that aren't good in the milk. And then it goes to our cheese make process. And in our cheese make process, we actually grow bacteria in the plant specific to the cheese that we're making that day, mix it with the milk, and then basically end up making curds and whey. So everybody's heard the nursery rhyme, curds and whey, right? So through the cheese make process, it goes into our vats. That's where the starter culture is added. And then we pump the curds and the whey out of our vats onto our belts, our cheese belts. And there we add salt, and all the whey basically drains off. The curd is then pumped over to either 40-pound, 640-pound, or barrel processes, and then packaged and then put into our warehouse. Water is used in that area basically we shut down every 20 hours, and it takes us about 4 hours to flush, run CIP, or in-process cleaning, and then a final rinse before we can run the next day's scheduled run. So we shut down every 20 hours, and there's a 4-hour cleaning process that goes into it. The whey is then sent over to our whey processing plant, where it goes through separators. We separate fats and some solids, and then it goes through a very sophisticated water treatment system is basically what it is, which includes diafiltration, ultrafiltration, reverse osmosis, and then our polishers. And through that process, we're concentrating the proteins and the sugars, which is where we get our protein powder from and our lactose product from. But basically, that process, once it's all said and done and we've polished the water, we end up with pure water. The water is basically cleaner than the well water that we're pumping out of the ground. So all the minerals and everything have been removed from it, and we use that water in conjunction with some well makeup water to clean the facility on a daily basis. So talked a little bit about our protein products. You know, a lot of people think, well, that's just a cheese plant, but there's a lot more involved in that process. And one of the key parts of that is our protein process. So sports drinks, if you look at like Cheeto chips, if you look at baby formulas, all of that has either a lactose component or a whey protein in it. So next time you're at the store, take a look at that. More than likely, it's some of our product. From there, we go to our reclaimed water system. And, you know, I think part of the education process is to get away from the idea of wastewater. Because every drop counts. We need to look for every opportunity we can to get the most out of the water we produce from our facility. So, you know, if you take nothing else away from today, I think the two key things are people, educating people, and getting the most out of every drop that we produce and using it to the best of our ability. So our water treatment process basically breaks down any protein and fats that we clean off of the chemicals, and then it goes, and I'll get a little bit more detailed on our water treatment process as we get into it. But from there, once it goes through the water treatment process, it's recycled. In California, they're currently using it for landscaping and for their cooling towers at their plant. Here in Dalhart, we use 100% of our water for irrigation purposes and growing crops. The next phase in our process is to start taking a look at bringing some of that reclaimed water back to the plant. And as mentioned before, I think in the City of Amarillo presentation, part of the challenge with that is public perception. And then also regulatory, making sure we can get USDA and TCEQ and EPA, and more importantly, our customers bought off on the idea of bringing our reclaimed water from our water treatment facility back into the plant for process and cleaning. And then ultimately, we grow crops with it, and the whole cycle starts over again. So all the crops we produce on our farm is being harvested, and it either goes to dairy or it goes to a feed yard in the Dalhart area. So basically, our water treatment process begins in the plant. You know, we really stress that employees make sure that they are fixing leaks, identifying leaks, whether it be chemicals, whether it be product or water, because anything that hits the drain ends up in our water treatment plant. And you know, the chemicals that we use in our treatment process for cleaning and sanitizing are designed to kill bacteria. Our whole wastewater treatment plant relies on bacteria to break down proteins and sugars. So it's a very delicate balance to make sure that not too much equipment sanitizer or caustic or what have you hits the drain, because it could wipe out our whole wastewater treatment plant and pretty quick. So a key part of that is the first step in the process, which is our equalization tank. So all of our water basically gets pumped into our equalization tank, and we neutralize it either with the acid wash that they've used and then the caustic wash to get between a 6 and a 7 or a 6 and an 8 pH before we send it out to our water treatment facility. Once it leaves our equalization process, it goes through a pre-aeration process, which is basically a recycle process from our anaerobic digesters mixing with raw wastewater or processed water before it goes into our anaerobic digesters. We have 3 anaerobic digesters, and like I said, that's where all the work happens. We get about 97% treatment, and that's basically BOD and COD reduction through our anaerobic digesters. These are covered anaerobic digesters, so the process produces methane. We capture that methane, and we send it back up to our facility to run one of our boilers at this point. So I always give the production guys a hard time, and I challenge them to put me out of business as far as methane production goes. not by killing the plant, but methane production and BODs and CODs is an indication of product down the drain, so that costs us money in the long run. We'll never get to the point to where we shut the water treatment plant down and not have to treat it, but the next step in the process is our facultative lagoons, and those are basically aeration ponds where we get another 1.5 to 2% treatment. And then from there, it is pumped into basically our irrigation storage ponds. So we have 200 million gallons of storage available in our irrigation storage ponds. And the reason behind that is we try to maximize water and use it in a timely manner. So usually for 3 months during the winter, January, February, and March, you don't want to irrigate because you're not getting a whole lot of benefit out of putting that water down on crops during that time. So we have about 90 days worth of storage. And then middle to end of March, we kind of kick off irrigation and start watering wheat and corn back up. So from there, so this is basically an aerial view of our water treatment plant. You see the 3 covered white tarped anaerobic digesters, and then our facultative lagoons, and then from there it's pumped into our irrigation storage ponds. And basically our permit, we are permitted for about 7,200 acres. We currently have about 5,000 acres tied directly to our water treatment plant. And when we designed that, it was existing irrigated acres and center pivots. We ran an individual wastewater line up to every single center pivot so that we could control the blend of well water and wastewater right at the pivot as we applied. The benefit of this is that we can spoon feed nutrients that we need to our plants or to our crops through the whole growing season rather than in shots throughout the season. So it's been a huge benefit. The water we produce off of our wastewater treatment plant is basically the equivalent of 9 circles of corn if you just look at the water aspect of it. And it's about, I guess, 18 circles of wheat if you just look at the water aspect of it. But the benefits to the farmer and to our farming operation is the water, the nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus that's in our wastewater. And we develop an agronomic management plan each and every year to make sure that we maximize that throughout the growing season. So we've seen better than most as far as yields go off both of our corn silage and our wheat silage over the last several years. So there's a shot of some corn and some wheat. Like I said, all these crops are harvested as silage for the most part. We do take grain from time to time, but it all goes back to either a dairy or a feed yard in the Dalhart area. All right, and this is basically an aerial view of our wastewater treatment plant. You can see some of our circles in the background, and then this is looking back towards Dalhart from the north. And our treatment plant is about our processing plant is about 1.5 miles away from our treatment plant at this point. And we, like I said, we have about 200 million gallons worth of irrigation storage capacity. All right, and I like to basically end with this quote from Benjamin Franklin: when the well is dry, we know the worth of water. And that just reiterates what we've talked about today and the presentations that we've heard today is, water is the lifeblood of our economy in the Panhandle. It's something that every one of us rely on each and every day. And we just need to do a good job of educating others. One of the things I talk to people about all the time with our process, especially those that have the misconception that we use a lot of water. Hilmar cheese uses a lot of water. And when you put it in perspective as far as 9 circles of corn or 18 circles of wheat, and the fact that we're using it 2 to 3 times before it gets to our water treatment facility and then out to the farm, we get the most out of every drop that we can. So the key is, to maximize the efficiency, reduce use, and to get the most out of every drop that we can. And for more information about Hilmar Cheese Company, there's our website. I really try to challenge people to take a look at Hilmar Cheese. One of our biggest struggles in Dalhart is finding people to work. There's lots of job opportunities up there. There's lots of job opportunities in the Panhandle. And if you know of anybody who's looking for a job with a great company who cares about the environment and cares about our future water needs, have them take a look at the website. With that, I'm going to open it up to any questions. No, sir. That's our California Visitor Center. We do sell Hilmar cheese, though, at the United in Dalhart. So if you drive through Dalhart and you want a block of cheese that says Hilmar cheese on it, you can go to the United in Dalhart and purchase some from there. No, we don't. We work with the local supermarket United there in Dalhart to sell our product. So, any other questions? No, well, our customers do. So that's why you never see our name on product in the cheese or in grocery stores, is because our customers sell through the grocery stores. So, and like the video said, we produce about a fifth to a quarter of all the American-style cheeses in the U.S. So chances are you've probably eaten our cheese. I don't know the answer to that. I think a lot of what happened with Borden was just advancement in technology and not being able to keep up, I think, with some of the advancements going on. Our big thing and the thing that keeps Hilmar growing is growth. We're constantly looking at growth and where we can grow and how we can grow and moving forward. So. We produce approximately 1.2 to 1.5 million pounds of cheese a day at this facility. So it's about 240 truckloads of milk a day is what we run through the plant. Run that by me again. Yes, so all of our wastewater that we apply on our crops is based off a nutrient management plan. So every year we go through, we do composite samples of all of the fields that we apply to. We determine what the nitrogen values are in the soil. We take a look at our historical nitrogen values in our wastewater throughout the year. And then we develop a nutrient management plan based off of the crops and the crop demands that we're going to plant for the year. And we basically track each and every day how many gallons of water we put on every acre. Yes, yeah, we blend with irrigation well water as well as our wastewater. So, any other questions? Yes, sir. It's just interior. We don't do any exterior washes on the trucks. It's just inside the milk tubes that we have to clean on a daily basis. Any other questions? All right, thank you guys.